आइए हम सुने विज्ञान की अनकही कहानियाँ। आइए हम सुने विज्ञान की अनसुनी कहानियाँ। एक नई दुनिया की आवाज आपकी आवाज, विज्ञान की आवाज, की आवाज।
Celebrating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, we bring you a podcast series on STEM popularization, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and medicine, supported and catalyzed by the National Council for Science and Technology Communication, Government of India. This program is produced by Media for Community Foundation. Creative content and technical support is given by Radioactive Community Radio, Bengaluru.
एक नई दुनिया की आवाज आपकी आवाज, विज्ञान की आवाज, की आवाज, की आवाज।
Latest information on STEM popularization.
A new mouse model to study musculoskeletal genetic disorders. A team of researchers at Regional Center for Biotechnology, Faridabad, created a mouse model with a deleted MYH3 gene to study congenital musculoskeletal disorders. They found out that the loss of this gene led to traits resembling spondylocarpal synostosis syndrome in adult mice, shedding light on MYH3 associated conditions. This work holds promise for understanding rare genetic disorders. Birth defects significantly contribute to childhood morbidity and mortality globally, manifesting as congenital anomalies that lead to severe disabilities in children. These anomalies are the major drivers of infant death rates. Promoting extensive research aimed at determining their underlying etiologies to facilitate pre- or postnatal treatments. However, a clear understanding of the observed abnormalities seen in affected patients remain elusive. To address this gap, a team of researchers at the Regional Center for Biotechnology, Faridabad, have generated an animal model through targeted deletion of a key development gene in mice. The cumulative burden of the rare genetic disorders affects millions of people worldwide, says Anju Shukla, professor and head, Kasturba Medical College and Hospital, Manipal Academic of Higher Education. She further adds, using peptides and lipids to deliver RNA interface safely into cells. A team of researchers from the Indian Institute of Science Education and Research, Kolkata, and IISER, Pune, engineered lipopeptide-based siRNA transporter, ensuring that siRNAs could efficiently enter the cytoplasm of the cells in functional form and perform gene silencing. Inside our cells, proteins, which are made from RNA, mainly control what our cells do in our body. Now just imagine the immense power of controlling the production of these proteins using nothing but incredibly tiny molecules. siRNA, or small interfering RNA, are short double standard RNA molecules that can specifically target certain RNA in cells, preventing the expression of genes in their protein form. Certain cancers and diseases are difficult to treat with conventional drugs, making siRNA molecules useful for targeting the genes involved in such cases. But here's the catch. Delivering these siRNAs into the cytoplasm of cells is no easy task. Typically, They have been delivered into the cells by packing them with lipids. But CNAs are highly unstable, and lipid-based delivery of these molecules causes cytotoxicity. In other words, it causes cells to die. To address this, Rituparna Singh Roy's group at IISER Kolkata, in collaboration with Arnab Mukherjee's group at IISER Pune, turned to molecular engineering to improve the delivery of CNAs into cells. They sought to increase the stability and reduce the toxicity associated with these molecules. The findings of the research were recently published in Chemical Science.
Now, our next segment is Analyst in STEM. Today, we are with Professor Ravi Manjitheya, Associate Professor of Molecular Biology and Genetics Unit, Associate Faculty, Neuroscience Unit, Jawaharlal Nehru Center for Advanced Scientific Research.
Yeah, my name is Professor Ravi Manjitheya. I'm a cell biologist. I'm a scientist here in Jawaharlal Nehru Center for Advanced Scientific Research. My department's name is Molecular Biology and Genetics Unit.
Okay.
I'm also the chair of the Neuroscience Unit. And my research is in a field known as autophagy.
Okay.
And in layman's term, it's like a Pac-Man inside our cells. This is like a self-cleaning process. It removes all the garbage from our cells and keeps our cells clean and healthy. It's a fundamental process required for our health, and in disease it plays a major role. It's important to understand how this functions throughout our age, and that's something that we are studying.
Sir. Sir, how is your research useful for a common man or in the field of science?
Yeah, so as I said, all organisms, the eukaryotic organisms, have this process. As long as every cell is alive, it requires autophagy to maintain a good house, clean house, and a functional house. So, meaning by almost all major diseases, autophagy plays an important role. So, if autophagy is not functioning, you may get certain diseases, or in many diseases, if you restore the function of autophagy, there can be very good benefits of it. So, so there are wide-ranging implications of my research in health and disease, and even in agriculture and other industries also. There is a role of autophagy in maintaining better yield in plants and stress resistance and so on.
Sir, can you give some insights on the history and present development, and also the future scope of this particular research?
So it's an interesting observation. Biology, a lot of it relied on looking at how cells are there, and Christian Didier, the Nobel laureate who identified lysosomes in our cells, also saw this process, and he named it as autophagy, where he saw cell eating itself, parts of it. But the mechanism was revealed in the late 80s and 90s when Professor Yoshinori Oshumi, the Nobel laureate in 2016, identified the key mechanisms. And since then, there's an upward trajectory. Everybody wants to understand how autophagy can happen in cells, what controls autophagy and things like that. And that's been the major focus of most labs that are working on this field.
Sir, considering the research work, in terms of ranking, where does India stand?
Well, cell biology is really have exponentially taken up in the past maybe 10-15 years, I would say, and is almost at par with many places in the world where we are doing excellent cell biology work. Many of my colleagues and contemporaries are addressing cell biology questions which perhaps 15-20 years back was not possible.
Sir, do you find yourself having any competition, and if there are, like, who are your competitors?
Well, the field of autophagy is a very happening hot field, and so both in India as well as abroad there are lots of young people, young scientists who are doing autophagy, asking very, very interesting questions. So I would say the competition lies both in understanding basic function of autophagy and also its application in terms of disease and in other cases. So there are many people who are working, but in India particularly working exclusively on basic aspects of autophagy, there are not many people.
Sir, can you brief about contemporaries?
Yeah, so there are we have an autophagy group actually in India. We
Okay.
conduct conferences almost every year. We unofficially also casually meet to exchange ideas, students, and things like that. And so there are many people in ILS Bhubaneswar, ISER Mohali, and in the south and all over the country. There are at least maybe 20 to 30 researchers who are working directly or indirectly in this field.
Okay. Do you have any global contemporaries?
Yeah, of course. As I told you, autophagy is so important now that every country has its own autophagy group,
Okay.
and all of those will directly or indirectly will be competitors. In US, in UK, in Europe, Japan in particular, where the mechanism was identified, there are very good research groups there as well. And in other countries now also we are seeing a lot of young people jumping into mechanisms of autophagy.
How is Indian industries associated with this project, sir?
So there are a lot of pharmaceutical companies
Okay.
that are interested in identifying drugs that can do autophagy. As I told you in the past, many diseases can be cured perhaps using autophagy. That's the latest thing that's happening. And so there are many companies, worldwide drug discovery companies that are exclusively working on autophagy related compounds. In India, at least there are few companies now who are showing interest in having autophagy related drugs, and they have come forth and expressed interest in identifying autophagy associated drugs. Yes, I think there's a very bright future for this kind of research, and you can see many students, researchers wanting to study autophagy.
Okay.
The funding from the country, if it actually improves, we can really do a lot of good things. One good direction is the involvement of industry. I think now that the industries are having their own independent drug discovery program, which was not there before.
Okay.
I think working in close collaboration with labs such as ours, in the coming years we'll probably see some very good discoveries that can help human health and disease.
Here we are, signing off. Stay tuned with us to catch up on the latest science updates and learn about STEM experts